Hi everyone, welcome to your HIIT Superset class. In today's class, we are going to incorporate a single medium weight. I have two options on hand. I have a 10-pound weight and an 8-pound weight. If you only have one available, just go medium or slightly to the light side of medium. If you're new to HIIT Superset classes, this is how the structure goes. We are going to complete 5 different supersets. In each one, I give you 2 exercises. They're similar, but movement A is going to be lower impact. Movement B, we're going to dial up the intensity. So for example, if movement A is a squat, movement B might be a squat jump. You do each back-to-back for 20 seconds, so that's 40 seconds total of work. You then rest for 20 seconds before repeating. In total, you complete 4 sets of each superset. And in between the 5 supersets, you get 60 seconds to recover. During that recovery time, I'm going to be showing you a preview of the upcoming moves. Now, we do add in a lot of jumping in this HIIT class. If you want to keep it low impact, I will have a low impact modification playing in the corner of the screen when we high impact exercise. Another way to modify is you could always just stick with movement A for the whole 40 seconds instead of changing over to movement B halfway through. If you like this HIIT Superset class, I have another one available on YouTube that is body weight only, and then I have a bunch more available on Patreon. Body weight only, resistance band, more incorporating weights, lots of good stuff over there. All the information you need is at patreon.com/Nicole Pearce, and that is linked below in the video description. All right, we're going to start class with a warm-up focused on mobility and some light cardio to bring the heart rate up, and then we will finish class with a guided cool down. Let's get right into our warm-up. No equipment needed for it. Standing up nice and tall, I want your feet about hips distance apart. I want you to take your right arm, reach it up, and then we're going to side bend over to the left. Now, staying within this side bend, we're going to find some rotation. On an exhale, chest twist slightly down towards the floor. And on an inhale, chest slightly up towards the ceiling. Don't make it too big or you're going to sink into your low back. Again, exhale, rotate down. Inhale up. Last time. Come through that center side bend and let's go up and over to the other side. Left arm reaches up, side bend over to the right. On an exhale, rotate down. Inhale up. Last time. Come through that side bend, come up tall, and then from here I'm just going to turn to the side. I want you to roll forward vertebrae by vertebrae, so start by nodding the chin, come into a forward fold, and then on an inhale, just stack the spine right back up tall. Let's do that just one more time. Exhale, nod the chin, vertebrae by vertebrae, articulate the spine into that forward fold. You can unlock the knees. Inhale, roll it back up. Last time, we're just going to hold at the bottom. So roll forward and hold. From here, I want you to bend deeply into the knees and then just straighten through them. Your upper body is just hanging there. It is relaxed. A little bend or a big bend into the knees and press. One more like this. And now from here, hands slide up your shins. I want you to elongate through the spine. So now you're at neutral in sort of a hinged position. Hands can come to heart center. Same bend and press, but it's going to be a little smaller, and we're maintaining a long neutral spine. Now we're going to come into a hip hinge next. We're going to add in a little movement of the arms. Arms will go overhead as you stand up, and they'll sweep behind you as you hinge. In 3, then press for 2. Last time. So let's stand it up, arms overhead without flaring out through the rib cage. As you hinge those hips back, arms sweep behind you. Come upright, arms overhead. So the hinge is a break at the hips. Yes, there's an unlock through the knees, but the movement is not initiated by the knees bending. Coming up, you're just going to hold the hinge, but the arms are going to continue to move up and down. In 3, in 2, now hold. Just the arms sweep up and back. As they sweep up, you're not losing that connection to your rib cage. You're not arching too much into your low back. You just have that natural curve to it. So don't force the range of motion, okay? Maybe your arms just lift up to forehead height. That is fine. 2 more. Last time. And come upright. We're going to come into some light cardio. So we're going to start with jumping jacks. If you don't want to jump quite yet, you can step instead of jump. So some light cardio here to gradually bring the heart rate up. We have 2 moves and we'll just alternate between them 3 times. Coming up next is butt kickers. So you'll kind of run it out in place in 3, 2, 1. butt kickers. So heel in towards your seat, pumping the arms as you do this. So it's a nice cardio move, but we're also actively opening up the quads, the top of the thighs. We'll go back to the jumping jacks in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So I like jumping jacks because you're also getting upward, downward rotation with the shoulder blades. So mobilizing through that shoulder joint as well as bringing the heart rate up. Back to butt kickers in 3, 2, and 1, let's go. If you'd rather march in place, go for it. We'll go one more time through the 2 moves and then back to just a little more mobility now that our body's nice and warm. 4, 3, 2, jumping jacks. We finish with butt kickers in 3, 2, 1, let's go. We're gonna come into world's greatest stretch. We're gonna go into it starting in a squat position though. In 4, find your squat. In 3, 2, 1. So feet can be about as wide as your mat. I want you to find a nice low, wide squat, elbows to the inside of the thighs, and start by just rotating side to side a little bit. Now, if this is too much, you can always come up tall, hands on thighs, and do it from there. Hands are gonna come to the mat. You're gonna walk yourself out to a plank in 3, 2, 1. Hands to the mat, walk yourself out into a plank. Left foot steps to the outside of that left hand. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling, twist it open. Left hand back to the mat, step your left foot back to plank, right side. Right foot, twist open, hand down, step it back. Again, left, twist open, to the mat, back to plank, right side. One more time, each side to the left, to the right. Now hold your plank. From here, I want you to just step your feet in so that now the knees are bent and they're stacked right under your hips. You're in a bear plank position. Spread out through the fingers and we're gonna finish with just a retraction and protraction of the shoulder blades. So a little serratus push-up modification. So this movement is your scapula, your shoulder blades, sliding across the back of your rib cage. They slide in towards each other and then wide down towards your armpits. Try not to change the shape of the rest of your spine. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Step your feet back to plank. Lift those hips up to a downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels a little for me. And then I want you to just walk your hands in towards your feet. Roll it up to stand. And I'm going to show you our first 2 movements. For our first superset, I'm going to be using my 8-pound weight. Exercise A is a squat hold. And in that squat hold, you're going to do a truck driver. So you're just flipping that weight over, under at chest height. From there, ditch the weight, we go into star squat jump. So you get big in the air and then you land in a normal squat position. Couple options with that one. You could just give me regular squat jumps up and down. Or if you want to take out the jumping altogether, you would give me an air squat with no jump, and that modification will be playing in the corner. All right, let's go. All right, so we are going to find a low squat position. You'll extend the weight out at chest height for that truck driver. Make sure you're open across your chest, core is engaged. And let's go. So just because the weight is out in front, don't let your shoulders round forward. So we're engaging our upper back. Think of almost a slight retraction of those shoulder blades here. Now I'm just going to put the weight on the couch for a quick transition. If you have like a bench or something elevated, it makes these transitions easier. Star squat jump. So start in a normal squat, get big. Reach those arms and legs. You can do a regular squat jump if you prefer. I like this version though, because it requires so much energy. Rest. All right, 20 seconds to recover. 3 more times. Squat hold, truck driver, let's go. So the majority of your weight here is in your heels, but I still want you to press down through the big toe, okay? Don't lift your toes. Weight goes down. Normal squat, get big, land normal. Now when you land normal, notice how your knees knocking around. Really try to land sturdy, knees tracking in line with your middle toes. So you gotta ground down through the foot when you land. Rest. All right, halfway there. Slide those hips back, get low, truck driver. If it gets to be too much with the weight extended, you can pull it in and then push it out for a slightly easier upper body option. Sink 1 inch low for me. Ditch the weight, star jumps. So I want these to be really explosive. Rest. Whew. One more set. Let's go. Truck driver. Final 40 seconds in this first set. Ditch the weight. Last 20 star jumps. Done. Oh. All right, minute to recover. I'm going to show you our next superset. I'm going to continue using my 8-pound weight. First movement is going to be a split lunge position. As you sink lower, you extend that weight out at chest height, pull it in as you straighten through the legs. You'll alternate the target leg each time we do that one. Second exercise, weight goes down. Again, it's going to be an easier transition if you have an elevated surface to put the weight on instead of the floor. And that is going to be a jump lunge, just switching legs one at a time. To modify that one, you can do an alternating back lunge. So you would just step one foot back and then the next. And if you take that low impact option, I challenge you to hang on to the weight for it. Okay, let's go. All right, I'm going to start with my right foot forward, left foot back. It doesn't really matter as long as you alternate each time though. Square your hips. As you bend through those knees, extend the weight out and then bring it in as you stand. I want you getting low in this lunge. So you're bringing that back knee to almost tap the mat. Comes just an inch or two off. Get low. Jump lunge up next. Weight goes down, let's go. Rest. Whew. So this time, left foot will be forward in your split lunge. And we're staying fairly upright through the torso. Let's go. Jump lunge. Halfway there. you're on the same side as me, right foot will be forward. Split lunge with a press. When you press, don't round forward. So same as that truck driver, it's that slight retraction of the shoulder blades. Staying open across the chest. Weight goes down. Or if you're doing the modification, keep your weight. Rest. I'm slowing down. One more set to go. Left foot forward. When you sink low, think of leading with your left hip so that their hips stay level to the floor. I don't just want you tilting down towards that back leg. Jump lunge, final 20 seconds, let's go. Done. Minute to recover. I'm going to show you our next superset. I'm going to be switching to my 10-pound weight for this one. First exercise is a wood chopper swing. So like a kettlebell swing, it's a hip hinge motion, hips back and forward, and you bring the weight to the outside of one hip, and then as you stand up to the opposite shoulder. Second exercise is going to be high knees. I'm going to do it with my elbows wide, hands behind my head. If you would rather run out your arms and do it that way, go for it. Modification, march instead of running it out. With that wood chopper swing, we'll just switch the diagonal every time we do it. Okay, let's go. So you're gonna grab the weight in both hands. We're gonna start with that hip hinge with that wood chopper swing. So to mirror me, why don't you bring it to the outside of your right hip and we'll bring it up kind of over that left shoulder. Spread out through the toes, feet are about hips distance apart. And it's a hip hinge, so it's not a squat. Let's go. Now you're not rotating through the torso just because your arms are going at a diagonal. So it's kind of an anti-rotational exercise. Weight down, high knees, let's go. Rest. So just that wood chopper swing to show you from the side. Hips go back, spine stays long. Outside of the left hip, this time up over the right shoulder. Let's go. So the power for this one comes from that hip hinge. Squeeze your glutes. Squeeze. High knees. Rest. Halfway there. When we do this wood chopper, make sure your knees are staying stable, okay? So you kind of almost push out with the knees slightly. Mirror me, outside of left hip. Hips back. Weight down. Rest. One more time. So weight will go to the outside of your left hip. I'll turn to the side just so you get a different angle. Weight down. Final 20. Rest. Whew. Minute to recover. I'm going to show you our fourth superset. We're down on the mat for this one, and I'm going to continue with my 10-pound weight. First exercise, you're in a boat pose position, and you're just going to give me a single arm shoulder press up and down, bouncing just behind those sitting bones. From there, weight goes down, you give me a full body crunch. Arms extend overhead, crunch up to a balance just behind those sitting bones. To modify that one, instead of coming up to balance behind those sitting bones, you would just keep your back on the ground, arms and legs would extend out and crunch in. This one is honestly going to feel like a nice change of pace after those first three, okay? Let's go. So I'm going to have the weight in my right hand to start. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure you alternate. And my left arm will extend out. Now from here, I'm going to roll my lower back so that I come just behind my sitting bones. And I'm going to pick my feet up to balance. From here, shoulder press. Woo, as I lose balance on that right arm. So my spine, I'm thinking of it as kind of a J shape here. I'm scooped through the lower spine, but I'm pretty upright and open through my mid and upper spine. Weight goes down, full body crunch. Let's go. Legs extend out, arms overhead. Exhale, come back to balance. So yes, you have a steady pace to these, but you shouldn't just be using momentum. So you should be able to pause at the top for a second. Rest. All right, weight will just go into my left hand. So start sitting upright, and then again, just roll like you're rolling your hip bones away from your thighs. Once you're on the back of those sitting bones, you lift up to that balance. Shoulder press, let's go. Full body crunch, weight down. Don't worry about how low your legs get when you're in this position. You want to maintain a neutral low back. So if it's peeling up to the ceiling, that may be a sign your legs are going too low. Rest. Halfway there. Now don't be frustrated if your hip flexors are talking to you. They're working, okay? They're working in connection to your abdominals. So you should feel your abs too, but you're gonna feel your hip flexors. Now, if it's unbearable, try crossing your ankles in this position, okay? And that can help. So my right hand has the weight and that shoulder press. And again, you're not right on top of your sitting bones. You really got to roll back so that you feel your core working. Weight down. Rest. So there's a difference between just doing the motion and doing it, recruiting the correct muscles, right? So that's why I keep harping on it, but it's so important you have this little sort of scoop through the low spine. If you're up tall like this, you're not really gonna feel this in your abs. So scoop back. It's the smallest difference. It might not even be visible to the eye, but you just gotta think hip bones away from your thighs, hip bones away from your thighs. Weight down, final 20, let's go. And that applies when you come to the top of this one. Maintain that little scoop. Don't sit up all the way like this, okay? Gotta maintain that little scoop. Done. Ooh, as I fall. All right, minute to recover. I'm gonna show you our final superset. I'm gonna stick with my 10-pound weight for this final superset. First move is going to be a push-up with a drag across. So the weight is behind one wrist. You do a push-up, opposite hand grabs it, drags it to the other side. You can always drop to your knees for those push-ups. Second exercise is a surfer get-up. It's like the bottom half of a burpee. You're lowering your chest all the way to the mat, pressing yourself up, landing in a low squat with one foot kind of positioned in front of the other. To modify that one, I want you to do hand release push-ups from your knees or feet, but you would still be lowering your chest all the way to the mat. Pick your hands off it for a second, and then push yourself back up into your plank or modified plank position. All right, final superset, let's go. So you want your weight to be long ways so that when you drag it, it doesn't thud, thud, thud across your mat. And it's just behind one wrist. Push up, and then we'll reach and pull it across. So find your plank position. One push up, elbows back at a 45-degree angle. Opposite hand reaches for the weight. Drag it across. Surfer get up. So just move the weight out to the side, chest all the way to the mat, and then you press yourself up. Land low squat. Rest. So I maybe should have moved my weight out of the way at the front of my mat. So in the push-ups, I don't want your elbows going straight out to the side like this, okay? Back at a 45-degree angle. So I want your hips to wobble and dip as little as possible when you do the reach across. So you might need to separate your feet a little wider than a normal plank. All right, weight away, surfer get-ups. Rest. Halfway there. All right, my push-ups are getting a little sloppy, so I'm gonna do the first one from my feet, and then I'm gonna drop to my knees. Just when you think you need to modify, I challenge you to one more full range rep before you do. That's how we get a little stronger every time. That was my one rep. Surfer get-ups. Rest. So when you do those surfer get-ups, I want you to think of it same as that push-up, just a little more explosive. Elbows back at a 45-degree angle. Lower your chest with control. Or you could even have the elbows in tighter, but don't have them out wide to the side on the surfer get-ups. You're gonna bother your elbows. All right, push up. Did my one from my feet, modifying. You wanna challenge yourself. You wanna get outside your comfort zone, but but you don't want the form to be totally sloppy. Surfer get-ups. Final 20 seconds. Oh, and done. Oh, awesome job. Oh, I'm going to bring you through a quick cool down. Take a couple seconds to catch your breath. And then let's just start by finding a child's pose. Reaching those arms forward. If you're really out of breath, I would recommend staying upright for a few more seconds. And then when you're ready to fold into that child's pose. Now from here, you're going to slide your upper body forward so your butt kind of sticks up into the air and your forearms come down to the mat. And then pressing your elbows into the mat, I want you to bend them, bring your hands together and behind your back. So kind of like you're patting yourself on the back, but hands in sort of prayer position. And you should feel an opening through the backs of your arms, so you might need to just slide your butt back a little bit, so you do. From here, straighten out those arms. Press yourself up into a tabletop position. You're going to take that left elbow up to the ceiling, open twist, and then we're going to thread the needle. Left under right, bending that right elbow, cheek to the mat, and walk that right arm forward. Walking your right hand in when you're ready. One more counter open twist. Left elbow to the ceiling. Bring it back through tabletop and let's do the other side. Right elbow up. As you exhale, thread the needle. Cheek to the mat, and then take your left arm and walk it forward. Walking your left hand in, let's do one more open twist. Right elbow up. Bring it back through tabletop, and then I want you to come upright to a kneel and bring your left foot forward into a lunge. You might need to pad that back knee. I'm going to, my mat is really thin. I'm just going to double it over. From this kneeling lunge position, I want you to square your hips, gentle squeeze through the glutes, and then press your pelvis forward so we get hip flexor stretch through that back right hip flexor. And then let's take that right arm, reach it up, and you're going to side bend over to the left. Now coming through center, only if it feels okay for your back knee, we're going to take a quad stretch. Opposite hand is going to grab that back foot, gentle pull in towards your seat. If this doesn't work for your back knee, do a standing quad stretch instead. You're going to release the back foot, and we're just going to switch sides. Right foot steps forward, left knee down, square the hips, gentle squeeze of the seat, and then press the pelvis forward for that hip flexor stretch. Left arm is going to reach up, and then let's side bend over to the right. Coming up tall, quad stretch, if it feels okay. Without slingshotting that back foot, you're going to release it gently. Let's come to a comfortable seated position. Let's finish by just with a little fluid side bend because it feels good. Tent the fingers on either side of you. Right arm reaches up, side bends over to the left. And then just take it up and over to the other side. A little freedom of movement here. Let's do one more each side. And then just come through center. Let's finish with one deep breath together. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, release. Awesome job today. That is your class. If you liked it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new workouts here every Monday, sometimes more frequently. And if you want access to additional workout classes, you can become a Patreon member. Also included with the Patreon membership is a monthly workout calendar. So that's a great option if you're someone who kind of likes to have things mapped out for you in advance. Again, all the information can be found at patreon.com/Nicole Pearce. The link is below in the video description. Thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you guys next week.